Thank you so much. Coming in, had an opportunity to speak with the Chancellor, and he said something to the team as we got our update that really resonated with me. These are not factories. These are not just spaces where you just say shut down, close down. These are focal points for for our children. These are sanctuaries. More things happen in this building just having children walk through the door. This is places where they get a meal if they can't afford to have a meal. This is a place where we're able to identify if they're going through some type of trauma at home. This is a place where they're able to receive the emotional support. And we have to stop taking it lightly of just saying close these sanctuaries. And historically, it has just been, let's just close them. Like it's just another factory, another building in our city. And it's not. It's not. To those countless number of New Yorkers where English is a second language, or the countless number of New Yorkers who don't have child care at home, countless number of New Yorkers who can't provide food for their children, a countless number of New Yorkers who don't have high-speed broadband, that they can't just, tap on a device. When you close down these buildings, you are closing down hope opportunities. And we're not taking that lightly. Whenever we make that decision, we're going to think it through. We're going to make the gutsy calls, and we're going to ensure that we do not prevent these children from coming from these safe havens and these sanctuaries that we built over years. Institutionals, the institution of education has played a vital role. And so I'm happy to be joined by my borough president, my assemblymen, my councilmen here on the never forgotten borough in my administration. Right. Never forgotten borough. When David told me, Chancellor Banks said he was coming out to Staten Island, I told him I'll see you out there. I told Staten Islanders when I came out throughout the campaign that I'm going to be out here. You have been forgotten for many years. That is not going to happen under this administration. And I'm happy to be part of this amazing team of electeds. And, there's not a Democratic or Republican pothole. There's not a Democratic or Republican crime problem. When someone discharges a gun, they don't ask that the bullet hit a Democrat or Republican. The campaign is over. Governing begins. And we're going to govern together to make sure this entire city receives the resources they deserve. And I could already tell you the principal. You know that? You got that principal feel. I am still paying penance for my misbehavior in school, and just thank you. Thank you. I hear principals say all the time, they don't say the kids, they say my children. Teaching is a calling. Yes, it is. And, for you to come out here and make sure these babies have a safe haven, it's just, the heroes and sheroes every day throughout the pandemic, throughout, no matter what storm we face, you continue to do it. And so, I just want to say on behalf of New Yorkers, I just want to really thank you for doing this. And before the elected speaks, Chancellor, it's all right if I have the principal come up and speak,
Absolutely.
And no matter what your name is, I still say Miss So-and-so. You never can say the first name of the principal. Please step up.
Thank you. Thank everyone. I just want to first thank my custodians for today, because you can see the streets are shoveled and plowed and everything looks good for the kids. They were ready for them today, and we have students in the building, and I want to thank my staff and my teachers for showing up for children today, right? Because that's what we do. We show up for children, and they did that today. We have our classes are covered. Our kids are learning. kids are going to get a hot meal today, and they're going to have a great day in school today. So I'm glad that we were able to open, and that our kids are here and our staff is here. So thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Chancellor. I'm so glad that you're here and you're able to visit our building.
Thank you. Thank you. Chancellor.
My name is Donna Bonanno. Principal Donna Bonanno, Donna, last name Bonanno.
Mrs. Principal, remember that.
Good morning, everyone. Chancellor David Banks. It's certainly my pleasure to be here and just to reemphasize what our mayor said and what Principal Bonanno said. You've heard a lot of talk about, we should close schools. We've got this coronavirus is surging. We should close schools. It's snowing. But our kids and our children suffered deeply over this last year and a half in ways that many of you probably don't fully appreciate. Being in school with their friends and their teachers, with the school custodians, the kitchen workers, the guidance counselors, the social workers. Many of our children spend more time in school than they do at home. These are places that are really emotionally important to them. And we don't take that lightly when we just say, well, it's snowing, we should close. When I called Principal Bonanno this morning, she said, all of my teachers are here, we're staffed, we're ready to go, we're here for our children. And I would tell you, you could go across New York City and you'll see that in so many schools. I had several teachers who I know across New York City who sent me texts this morning to say, 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm here and I'm here for my children. It's personal. As the mayor said, these are not just factories. These are sanctuaries. And we ought not take it lightly. And so I am very deeply appreciative of all of the teachers, the administrators who have shown up not only today, but every day. They are heroes who have often not gotten enough acknowledgement throughout this pandemic. They have given everything that they have, in spite of all the challenges that they have in their own families. And so I want every teacher across New York City, every principal, assistant principal, every person that works in the kitchen, every security officer, all of the people who represent what our schools are all about. I want them to know that the mayor and the chancellor see them, we believe in them, and we thank them. And we know that they're going through a lot. But what I know is, as I sit here and I speak to you right now, I'm looking up and I'm seeing the sun coming out.
That's right.
And I know that after the darkness, the sun will come.
That's right.
And so how appropriate is it that even as we're covering this and our message around the snowstorm, but the sun is coming out now. And we are New Yorkers, and we are resilient. And me personally, I will tell you, just having come from the Eagle Academy, we like to tell all of our young people, we are eagles. Eagles soar above the storm. We don't wallow and run and hide and look for cover. And so if we're New Yorkers and we're strong, and that's who we are, we know that the sun is coming out. And we've got to stay strong. We've got to stay focused. We will rise above this. We will be better and stronger as a result of it. It's tough when you're going through it, but that's what it means to be a New Yorker. And so I just want to thank Principal Bonanno for her leadership. These teachers showed up for these children, and they show up because they have great leaders who support them. And that's what I hear all the time in every school. I visited every borough now across the city during my very first week as chancellor. And I couldn't be more proud of the people who are on the front line doing this work. The folks who are out here cleaning up and making sure, look at this. This is wonderful. It's amazing. And that's what we need. And we need all of our parents and our families, when they hear that tough times are coming and the snow is coming, come out here, pitch in, ask the schools what they need. Grab a shovel. Maybe you can help out a little bit. Anything that we can do, we're doing this for all of our babies. These are all of our children. They represent our community. We love our communities. And so I just want to thank all the elected officials who came out today, the leadership that goes on in this school and schools all across New York. We're going to continue to stay strong. And like eagles, we're going to continue to soar above this storm. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. We're going to bring on our assemblyman, our borough president, and our councilperson. Assemblyman?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Chancellor. I'm Assemblyman Mike Cusick. I represent the 63rd Assembly District, Mid-Island. Welcome to the 63rd, Mr. Mayor and Chancellor. I want to just thank Principal Bonanno and the teachers and the staff here at PS 60 for being open and having a safe environment for our children here in Staten Island. As the Chancellor said, look at the sidewalks, look at the appearance of the school. As a former custodial helper in my summer jobs going to college, I know how hard the custodial staffs at these schools work, and on a day like today, they put in double time for this and hard work, and they really deserve our appreciation. And it's important again. The mayor again coming here to the school and to PS 60. The roads are in good shape here on Staten Island. Coming here from PS to PS 60, sanitation is doing a great job. Our city workers again are doing a great job making sure that New York City is working and New York City kids are in school. So again, thank you to our workers. I want to, at this time, the mayor's asked me to introduce my colleagues in government. At this time, I'd like to introduce our borough president, Vito Ficello. Borough President Ficello.
Thank you. Thank you, Michael. And, you know, Chancellor, I noticed you come with your props. You see the sign on the fence says Eagle across the street there? I noticed that. So I want to thank Michael Cusick for introducing me, but more importantly, I'd like to thank the mayor, the Chancellor, and Mrs. Bonanno for what they do every day. And the Chancellor, you talked about the sun shining through. Mr. Mayor, listening to you, you were like a breath of fresh air, frankly, to come out here and be so optimistic, so bullish on our future, so hopeful. And it's emblematic when we say our schools are open. Because for the last couple of years, young families in particular have had to worry almost every day whether their kids are going to go to school, whether they're going to learn, whether they're going to play with their friends, have a snowball fight. Simple little things that we took for granted. And you got a pretty good arm, Mr. Mayor. But simple little things. And there's a thirst to have that happen. And we should give these kids a great opportunity that they deserve to play with their friends, to learn. We've lost too much, but we don't look back. So, Mr. Mayor, I want to thank you for coming to Staten Island. You also said some words that were, again, music to our ears, the never forgotten borough. And for too long that was the case, but we very much look forward to working with you to improve the conditions and quality of life, not just for the people of Staten Island, but also across the city. Chancellor, you have our full support to do whatever you can. And for the great men and women who make this school system some of the best in the world, you know that we'll have your back on that. So thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is David Carr. I'm the Mid-Island council member for the 50th District, including this wonderful neighborhood of Bull's Head and this wonderful school, PS 60. You know, the mayor does have quite the snowball arm, but it's a politically astute snowball arm because he grazed Assemblyman Cusick and I, but he didn't hit us. So it was very good, Mr. Mayor. So glad to be here this morning with all of you, and so glad to be standing in front of an open school. My colleagues in government, you know, referenced this earlier. Our school children lost too many days in school over the last, 18 to 24 months. They learn best. They thrive best when they're able to come to their school, be with their friends, and be in front of their educators in person learning with them. And so having the schools open this morning was absolutely the right decision, and it's the right decision when they're able to get to their schools safely, and that's what this administration has ensured. You know, I see a lot of blacktop, not just on our main roads, but even on our tertiary roads. That's due to the great work of New York's strongest, the men and women led by Commissioner Grayson and this mayor. It's done by the great custodial work that Principal Bonanno mentioned earlier at this school and in schools across the borough and the city. And so glad to be here after this first storm with the mayor, and I think it's been an incredibly successful job. and I think it's going to be a bellwether, for the way he tackles these jobs in the future and these challenges. And I'm so excited to work with him, with our Chancellor, and all those in governments to make Staten Island an even greater place to live and work and learn. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, for the mayor, and maybe this is more directed toward the chancellor, when you know that snow is in the forecast, how do you make the calculation really? I mean, you got a heads up this time, but like, how do you make that calculation to cancel school?
Well, there's a process. It's not strictly. It's certainly not my call. It's ultimately the mayor's call, and the mayor is the one who brings everybody together, all the various city agencies, to have the conversation around. What does the forecast look like? What do we determine to be our best sense of readiness, staffing, and it's been a challenge. That's why this one was particularly a challenge. I don't think the snow was really the biggest issue. The biggest issue was the fact that we were already in the middle of this surge, and staffing has already been a challenge. But we've talked to principals all across the city. We talked to the head of the unions as well. We try to get everybody's perspective, and then we deliver all that to the mayor, who ultimately is the one who makes the decision.
And is the Eagle Academy open today?
Yes, every school across New York City is open today.
And the chancellor said something that's very important, and it's probably we're overlooking. We are doing something revolutionary in our administration. We're communicating. We are talking to each other. My police commissioner speaks to the chancellor. They're not strangers. They're not bumping into each other at events. We are coordinated, and we are a team. And it's unfortunate that in government, we don't operate as a team. We're siloed. The DOE is siloed from the NYPD, is siloed from DOC. Everyone is siloed, and I say no to that. Taxpayers deserve the right to spend their tax dollars to produce a quality product. Down in New Yorkers get up every day and they work hard. We need to start working hard. And if you're not working hard, you're not on my team. You must work harder than the New Yorkers. You must work harder than those police officers and school safety agents out there. And so the reason we can make the right call is because we sit down as a team and we decide what are we going to do. We say, what are we doing DSNY? What are we doing DOE? What are we doing NYPD? What are we doing together as a team? And that's what we're going to do. Government can work if we just talk and communicate with each other, and we're going to do that.
Do you have a sense of the absenteeism today? And also, a lot of teachers live in the eastern suburbs. Was that an issue in terms of staffing on top of COVID?
Yes, those are certainly issues, of course. We don't have our numbers. We're putting out today, but we'll have some more official numbers in the coming hours. But anytime you have a snow day, you're going to have lower staffing. You're going to have less students who actually wind up actually coming to school. So we knew that the number would be lower today anyway. But when you couple that with the snow together with what we were already going through, we're in the midst of a challenge. But we like to say that challenges make you stronger, and we believe that. I grew up as a kid; it would be 25 inches of snow, and they never closed New York City schools. So 4 inches of snow to say, hey, we're going to run and hide, and we need to shut down the whole New York City school system. We're better than that.
Right, and the let's say we're at 50%. Those are 50%ers that had no other choice. Their mom and dad had to go to work. They didn't have a meal at home. They are in a place where they feel unsafe. So those 50% that's the population that we often ignore when we take a comfortable outlook. If my son when he was growing up, if Jordan did not have to go to school, he would still have those 3 meals. He would still have access to Wi-Fi. He would still have all the things that a child would have. But what about the child in a homeless shelter? What about the child that is in a household where the heat may not even be on? Those are the children come hell or hot water. They say, I got to get to my sanctuary. I got to come see my principal. I got to come see that teacher that's going to embrace me. That's why we said we must not take these issues lightly. Staten Island, I see you all the time. No, we were talking with our school bus operators. They're part of the team. We talked to DSNY, and they said, Eric, we're going to clean these roads. The roads are going to be safe. We identified the locations. Parts of Staten Island had a little more snow. We said, let's make sure we get out there and always remember Staten Island. That's the orders that I have. And so we were not concerned at all. When DSNY told us, Eric, we got this. We're going to make sure the roads are smooth. We knew our children and our families were going to be safe. I'm sorry, the truck, the plow. And the Chancellor can talk directly to the absentee rates. We were really pleased. Pre the break, we were at 65%. After the holiday break, we went up to 67%. And he'll give you, the numbers if I got it incorrect. I was never good in math, so he'll tell you. But clearly, the energy was there. They did it with, staffs were cycling out of the COVID and the return, but it was clear that we stabilized. We stabilized in the midst of the storm of uncertainty. And we're just really proud of our teacher staff, our team, going into the new year with the right energy of how we're going to run the city. So, Chancellor, you want to?
Yeah. I mean, I visited every borough during my first week as Chancellor, and I will tell you, and not just the schools that I visited, but just schools who I've spoken to around the city. I was a principal for 11 years right here in the city, and so I know what it means to lead a school. And I know when we're faced with challenges, you will have teachers who will not make it back, right? I mean, who are delayed in getting back. And many of our teachers have also suffered from this variant. That's real. I know so many people personally who, in the last couple of months, it has touched them. But I think all the work that we have done with respect to the vaccinations, and I think all the things that we've done in our schools have been designed to show that our schools are safe. And for many of our children, they're safer in schools than they are even at home and in the communities. Those are facts. And so that's part of the reason why we've kept these schools open. Certainly the numbers, and we can give you specific numbers later, but certainly the numbers on the staffing has been lower than we wanted to see. But we expected that as well. But the main thing is that our students are making their way back. And so, as the mayor said, 65% right before the break, as soon as we got back, 72% the next day, and it's been holding pretty steady at 72% for the rest of the week. Of course, we expect the numbers to be a little lower today. But I think you will see over the next week or two, we will begin to start to make our way back to normal as this variant starts to subside as well. These are the projections that we have. But the main thing is that for all of our children who really need to be in school, they're here. Serviced, as Principal Bonanno said, my teachers are here. And we're here to service our kids. And if you go in here, this is not babysitting that's going on. They've got classes, kids are learning, they're engaged, and I think you'll see that all over the city. There's certainly some places that have more challenges than others, but I think the big message is that we're on the comeback.
And I don't know if it was the assemblyman or the borough president that stated uncertainty. I mean, parents were waking up in the morning from the news. School is open, school is closed, school is open, school is closed. I mean, the level of uncertainty was horrific. We're just moving with the level of clarity. And that means so much to a parent when you're deciding how you're going to juggle, get to work, how you're going to juggle with your children, how you're going to juggle with childcare. We just want to send a clear message. It's hard enough raising children in New York City to have uncertainty in government. And that is what we wanted to do right away. We wanted to let parents know your schools are open and you could build your lives around that. Okay?
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.